Millions of years before the first human ever planted a seed, before the dawn of agriculture that would reshape our world, a silent revolution had already taken root in the hidden corners of the earth. Imagine a creature so small it could disappear under a grain of sand, yet so ingenious that it mastered the art of farming long before our earliest ancestors even dreamed of sowing a field. This creature wasn't a human, nor was it any mammal or bird. It was an ant, a tiny architect of the underground world. Meet Messor Structor, the ancient seed-harvesting ant, nature's very first farmer. But how did these ants become such expert cultivators? And what secrets does their remarkable society hold about the origins of agriculture itself? Let's journey below the surface to uncover the incredible story of Messor Structor, the original stewards of the harvest. It all begins not with a bustling colony, but with a single queen. Her life starts in a flurry of wings and sunlight, as hundreds of queens take to the skies for a one-time mating flight. For just a few precious hours, the air teems with the hopes of future generations. After mating, the queen drifts down to earth, guided by some ancient instinct to a dry and open plain. Here, she sheds her delicate wings, the last vestige of her former life, and searches for the perfect spot. A patch of loose soil, safe from the eyes of predators. With surprising strength, she digs deep into the earth, carving out a small chamber in total darkness and silence. This is her fortress, her cradle, her solitary kingdom. Alone and vulnerable, she lays her first eggs, the fragile foundation of a future society. For weeks, she neither eats nor sleeps, relying on her own reserves to nourish both herself and her growing brood. It's a gamble, a leap of faith, but if she succeeds, her legacy will echo through generations. Eventually, the eggs hatch. The first workers are pale, delicate, and entirely dependent on their mother. But they quickly gather strength, and soon, the colony stirs to life. Driven by hunger and instinct, these pioneer workers waste no time. They leave the safety of their underground home and venture above, into a world filled with dangers and opportunity. On the surface, the wild is harsh. The landscape is dominated by dry grasses, brittle weeds, and scattered grains, resources that seem unremarkable to most creatures, but are the lifeblood of Messor Structor. The workers fan out in organized patterns, forming living highways across the ground. Each ant can lift seeds many times its own weight, balancing them atop their heads or tucked beneath their mandibles. Some carry single grains, while others manage to haul entire clusters of seeds, undeterred by the burden. These foraging trails are a marvel of order. Ants communicate through invisible chemical trails, directing their sisters to the richest patches of seeds. There is no chaos, only purpose. Every ant knows her role, and together, they become an unstoppable force of harvesters. As the days pass, the colony's stores swell. Seeds of wild grasses, cereal grains, and tiny weeds are ferried back to the nest, one by one, in a continuous procession. But collecting seeds is only the beginning. Deep underground, the workers transform their home into a vast granary. Special chambers are meticulously shaped to store the colony's precious harvest. Each chamber is carefully ventilated, designed to keep moisture at bay. The workers sort the seeds by size and type, laying them out to dry before sealing them away. If a seed begins to sprout or shows signs of spoilage, it is swiftly removed, an act of quality control perfected over millions of years. This is no random stockpile. It's a sophisticated food management system, as advanced in its own way as any human grain silo. The ants understand how to preserve their food, protecting it from mold, rot, and theft. They even exploit microclimates within the soil, choosing chamber locations that offer the best balance of humidity and temperature. In doing so, they ensure the colony's survival through the leanest seasons. Inside this subterranean world, life unfolds with astonishing complexity. When the time comes to feed the youngest larvae, the ants don't simply present them with whole seeds. Instead, they engage in a remarkable act of food preparation. Workers use their powerful mandibles to grind seeds into a soft, dough-like paste, a nutritious meal for growing young. In essence, They are the bakers of the insect world, creating a primitive form of bread to nourish the next generation. This isn't just feeding, it's food processing. Long before humans learned to crush grains between stones or bake bread in fire, Messor Structor had already mastered the art of turning raw harvests into digestible meals. Each mouthful that nourishes a larva is the product of collective effort, planning, and instinct. The colony itself is an underground metropolis, humming with purpose. Workers are the backbone of the society, foraging, cleaning, and tending to the young. Soldiers, larger and stronger, defend the nest from invaders and use their powerful jaws to crack open the hardest seeds. The queen remains at the heart of it all, deep within her chamber, her sole focus on laying eggs and ensuring the colony's future. There are no rulers, no overseers barking orders. Instead, everything runs on a symphony of chemical signals, pheromones that guide, organize, and coordinate the actions of thousands of individuals. The nest is divided into specialized zones: storage chambers for seeds, nurseries for larvae, air vents for fresh circulation, and intricate transportation tunnels connecting every part. It's a society without hierarchy, yet every ant knows her place and purpose. Survival in the wild is never guaranteed. Messor Structor has evolved a toolkit of tactics to outlast the harshest conditions. During droughts or seasons of scarcity, the colony slows its breeding and relies on its carefully guarded stores. If disaster looms, whether from floods, predators, or scorching heat, they may move their precious seed cache to safer chambers or even seal off the entire nest, waiting out the threat in total darkness. Flexibility is key. The colony can adapt to changing circumstances, shifting resources and strategies as needed. This resilience has allowed Messor Structor to thrive in some of the world's most unforgiving environments, from sun-baked steppes to rocky plains. Perhaps most remarkable is their quiet influence on the world above. As they carry seeds across the landscape, the ants inevitably drop some along the way, planting new grasses and weeds in their wake. Their digging aerates and fertilizes the soil, creating microhabitats for countless other organisms. Without their tireless work, many dry ecosystems would slowly collapse, deprived of the seeds and soil health they provide. In this way, Messor Structor is not just a farmer, but an ecosystem engineer, an unseen caretaker whose actions ripple through the web of life. Their presence supports a rich tapestry of plants, insects, and animals, all interconnected by the humble work of these tireless harvesters. It's tempting to think of ants as simple creatures, but the reality is far more complex. In the world of insect agriculture, they are not alone. Leafcutter ants, for example, are famous for their fungal gardens, cutting leaves to cultivate a fungus that becomes their primary food source. But while leafcutters farm fungus, Messor Structor specializes in seeds. Both have developed farming independently, a striking example of parallel evolution that shows how the drive to cultivate and manage food can arise in very different societies. What sets Messor Structor apart is their focus on grain-like seeds, their underground granaries, and their sophisticated food processing, a system that mirrors, in miniature, the great leaps humans would one day make. Their story challenges us to rethink the origins of agriculture, to see it not as a uniquely human achievement, but as a natural strategy that emerged wherever it could. So, long before the first sack of grain was stored in a human-built granary, before the rise of cities and civilizations, ants were already building silos, managing food supplies, and feeding future generations. They had no language, no written records, no tools shaped by hand, just instinct honed by the relentless test of time. Perhaps, in the grand tapestry of life, the first farmers on Earth weren't humans at all, but these tiny, tireless architects of the underground. Their story is a testament to the power of evolution, cooperation, and adaptation, a reminder that intelligence and ingenuity take many forms. If this story of nature's original farmers fascinated you, don't forget to hit that like button. It helps others discover these hidden wonders of the natural world. And if you're eager for more deep dives into the forgotten origins and astonishing histories that shape our planet, subscribe to How It Began. Every week, a new story awaits, uncovering the secrets of life, one mystery at a time. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the world of Messor Structor. Until next time, keep wondering, keep exploring, and remember, the most extraordinary stories are often hidden in the smallest places.